This week I've been reviewing the 2025 Volkswagen ID.Buzz. The microbus is back after many decades of its absence here in the United States. This week I've been driving it highway, I've been driving it city, I've been living with it, putting kids in here. I'm gonna tell you as a dad, especially as a minivan fan, how good but also how frustrating this ID.Buzz is. And make sure to stay to the end. We're gonna look for deals in my area, and then we're also going to put this on my spreadsheet with all the cars I reviewed so far in 2025 to see if this is a good buy or not. Well, it is fully electric and that comes with pros and cons here. I like how there's a strap to make sure this doesn't fly off. All right, no gasoline engine. In Europe they have, I think it is at the T7, which actually comes with a plug-in hybrid. This being fully electric has an 85 kilowatt hour battery that's usable. I'm getting about 2.8 miles per kilowatt hour in town. I'll go put what my city range would be with that sort of efficiency. On the highway, I picked up my parents from the airport and I was getting about 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour on the interstate. All right, so that gives us a little over 200 miles of range with the 85 kilowatt hour battery. This has, well, in the United States, it only has a long wheelbase, which gives us the bigger battery option. In Europe, they have the small wheelbase option with only 2 rows of seats. This comes with 3 rows of seats. But back to the powertrain, you can get it in a single motor rear wheel drive with 282 horsepower or so and over 400 pound-feet of torque. This is the dual motor, which has, well, obviously a motor added to the front. That has about 100 horsepower to it. So total is about 335 horsepower combined, and also over 500 pound-feet of torque. And that's what you feel the most driving from point A to point B especially. Charging port, it's massive. Well, the cover for it is, and that's fine because this vehicle is massive at over 6,200 pounds. It just has a CCS level 1. I'm sure it's only a matter of time before they convert it over to a NACS. Which means you would be able to charge at a supercharging station, and maybe you still can if you have the right adapter. But I did charge this at a 7-Eleven waiting to pick up my parents, and it was charging, I was about 68% and it charged to about 90% in about 25 minutes or so. And it was perfect, honestly. I had no issues charging it because I was just waiting for my parents to get out of the airplane, you know, that sort of thing. So for the charger was 3 minutes from the airport. So honestly, I topped this thing up back to 98% for my return trip home. All right, like I said, 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour efficiency on the highway. And I'll talk more about my highway driving impressions once we get back in the car. The overall breadbox design of the Volkswagen ID.Buzz is why you get it. The huge flower power like Volkswagen logo here that feels like it's ripped straight from the 60s. Now the headlights, do I wish they were circular? Yeah, I'm a sucker for that, but these are cute. I like, I absolutely adore the two-tone paint colors. This one, I think it's called like mock green or something. It's beautiful. There's a yellow, there's a blue, there's a red, there's an orange. Volkswagen crushed it with these two-tone paint colors. They crushed it with the exterior design. All right, so I'm 6 feet tall, guys. This van, 6'1", is as tall as I am. It's absolutely huge. It's probably, my guess would be, my Sienna goes to about here. Okay, so it's like 8 inches taller. That's just a rough guess, but it's noticeably taller and bigger, at least proportion wise, and compared to my Sienna. And that will definitely translate once we get on the inside. But again, the two-tone paint color looks amazing from the side, and I like this green. It kind of reminds me of the Ninja Turtle van, which I'm a big sucker for. And this window will slide to the side here, but I have issues with how you control those windows. Huge Volkswagen logo here on the back. ID.Buzz for the microbus, re-envision. You got the 4Motion badge back here. You got a nice light bar. Look how big this rear glass is. It's freaking awesome. This lift gate here is also enormous. It's one of the biggest I've tested, and look how tall it goes. I also have lights here and then a pull down strap, and there's also a little Easter egg of the microbus here. It's not, feel like it's not, I don't know if I can call it a microbus anymore because this thing is it's so big, and it weighs, guys, it weighs like 3,000 pounds more than the old microbuses. So it's just nuts. Anyways, as a minivan lover, this is where it's disappointing. Okay, yes, most crossovers, their floor starts somewhere around here or here. 3-row crossovers I'm talking about. So it might have slightly more usability, compared to a 3-row crossover, but this is essentially a 3-row crossover with sliding doors. And what do I mean by that? Most modern minivans, all of them that I've tested and reviewed, including my old Sienna that I own, the floor goes all the way down. So I can fit massive things in the back of a minivan, including my beach cart, which is also my grocery cart, as I just pick it up full of groceries and take it into my house. It's laughable trying to put anything of substantial size in the ID.Buzz behind the 3rd row. If the 3rd row is just occasional for you and you're buying this thing mainly due to nostalgia or aesthetics, well, let's see what happens when you fold down the 2nd row. When you fold down the second, well, maybe I need to do the headrest first. When you do the 2nd row, we have a nice flat floor here. Well, based off of this cool shock assisted fake floor. So, I mean, this is insane amount of space now. However, you know, like if I were to remove this little doodad, these seats do stick up high. So it's still kind of a limited cargo experience compared to a normal minivan. But if you're rarely, if never using the 3rd row, it shouldn't be a big deal. All right, I have a 12 volt back here, but I have no accessory AC power. I have nowhere to plug in anything, okay, unless I put an adapter in there. But even then, that's a bit sketchy. This is probably 180 watts of power. For an electric vehicle to have no accessory power in something iconically beachy and wildernessy in some ways and hippie, where you could like camp out with this thing, you can't really do it because there's no vehicle to load. I can't put in a little adapter into the charge port to run accessory grill or power stick. I can't do that. And that's a huge miss in my opinion, a massive miss, which limits the usability of this vehicle. All right, like I mentioned, the range isn't great, and also its ability to be what it once was as a camping vehicle or a beach vehicle has just been limited because I don't have any accessory power either. Folding the seats back up is kind of a two-stage action, which is also kind of strange. You would have to have 2 hands because you have to pull this one and pull this one at the same time. So that's a bit of an oddity. One of my favorite things about this ID.Buzz are these doors. Look how enormous this door opening is. I nail my head. Well, I've nailed my head probably 100,000 times with all the kids I have, putting them into their car seats, because the roofs are short on minivans. All right, most minivans, like a Honda Odyssey is really short, really low to the ground. That's why it handles so well. But this for putting kids in is honestly probably the best vehicle I've ever seen for putting kids into the back of a car. Look how massive this opening is. It is huge. I mean, let me just open the other side. I mean, this thing is just a straight up kid hauling machine with a big asterisk we'll talk about in a little bit. Now this has the captain's chairs. You can get a bench option, which gives you the 7 seats. This only has 6 seats, and I really am upset about that. But at least since these doors open so wide, you could have a kid sitting here. Look how much space there still is. You still have a kid sitting here, and I could, well, my kids are small, so they could climb between here. And you know, yes, you can do that, but if there's a kid sitting there, that's not going to work. All right, so let's put it back. Can an adult slide through there, assuming you had the bench seat, right? If you have the bench seat, they can't go through between these 2 captain's chairs because there's a seat there. All right, but can you slide in as an adult? Yeah, you can. I mean, I'm kind of skinny though, but I can still do it. It's not comfortable, but really that back seat isn't for adults, it's for kids. If it is for adults, then you're probably getting this captain's seat option, which look how easy it is for me, even with the seat all the way forward. Look at that, because the ceiling is so tall in this microbus. It is enormous. This one does not have the panel roof, but I would be getting the panel roof, sacrificing a little bit of headroom in there because the panel roof is the biggest panel roof ever used in Volkswagen's history. All right, getting myself into this back seat here. Tons of legroom. I mean, it's unreal. Like this is, oh, I should probably pop up the headrest. There we go. I have map lights above me on each side. That's great. Cup holder really tall here. USB-C up here as well. This window is massive, which I'm a big fan of. If you're stuck back here, at least you have great comfort. The seat's amazing. So this seat back here is upright quite a bit, and it doesn't lean backwards, I don't think, because if it did, I'd be running into that floor back there. Oh, I did. But you have to pull on the tab, so a kid wouldn't be able to do it. But you have to pull on that tab to lean the seat back. So that's a bit of an annoyance, but at least it does go back here. And now, honestly, it's as comfortable as the captain's chairs in front of me. But there's no third seat back here. Every minivan I've ever driven has a bench seat in the third row for 3 seats. So this massive van and this top trim only comes with captain's chairs, and that is a huge miss for families. At least I have a big family, so it's a miss for me. And it's a miss for families who also want to haul other kids, and that's what minivans are for. Fortunately, you're stuck with 2 big old adult-sized seats back here and not a third seat option. So for families, most of them are probably going to go for that bench seat option and then just kind of work around not being able to get to the back seat through the middle passage like you have here. All right, the second row, tons of leg room. I also have a little hidden storage compartment down here that's connected to the removable tray, but here, I'll just remove the tray and I'll show you guys. You guys can see that now. There's 2 little connectors at the bottom of this, and so I can flip these up. Okay, it's locked into place there now. You can also buy, I think it's actually pretty cheap, about $100 or something, to buy a middle console here to accessorize the one that I just pulled this from. So that's kind of neat. I like this thing, and also, like I said, it has hidden storage here and for the third passengers as well. And it's great that I can kind of move this around. There's also little hooks here. I could put it right here if I wanted. Ta-da! It's stuck there, but now it's too much of a block here, in my opinion, for the passengers in the back seats. So we're just going to put it back up in the front row. There it goes. It's really happiest up there in the front row, which I think it was designed for. But mat pockets, top and bottom. Let's see if you guys can see that. I also have a vent up here, which is great. Climate control on each side of these captain's chairs. If I close this door, there's a button here. There's also a nice handle to get in back here. And all this is the lever also to open the door. But if I want to move the window, here, I should be able to move the window after turning the accessory power on. Here it is. It's really small, cute as heck. Style through the roof here, but really, really small window openings. I do have heated outboard seats and a Harman Kardon sound system, and I'll tell you right now, it's actually pretty decent. The sound quality is good. Most of the bass comes from the back. There's probably a subwoofer in the back somewhere. I'm getting sweaty, and so I think I'm gonna cover the interior while we're driving with the AC on. All right, driving the ID.Buzz. 360 camera, I believe, is standard. You can see that big Wagoneer behind me. Yeah, 360 camera, I love it. Would I prefer 4-wheel steering in such a long wheelbase vehicle? And the answer is of course. And with electrification, it could have been done, but they decided not to. We're gonna do a quick 0 to 60 here. That torque, oh my gosh, 516 pound-feet of torque or whatever. And there's 60. All right, so 5.5 seconds, 5.54 seconds, 0 to 60. And the ride quality in here is laughable. It's so floaty. You're just bouncing around if you have any sort of deviations in the road. It is properly quick in this dual motor. I'd say single motor is gonna be almost as quick, maybe 6.5 seconds, 0 to 60, which I think is adequate. When I drove this on the highway, the passing power was great. Oh my gosh, this road's not that bad, but you know, it is a bit bumpy, and the ID.Buzz just feels like it's flopping all over the place. Most of the time, it's pretty good, especially on the main roads, but on this side road, I'm just like bumping all over the place. It's just hilarious because, well, this vehicle is kind of just, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's hilarious. Like, you sit in it, and it just, you feel like you're driving a small bus. You sit up so high, the windows are huge. My feet are so far from the chair, meaning like this chair, you just sit up high. It feels like a commercial van, which is sold as a commercial van in other markets as well. We only get the passenger version of it. City driving range, it's never gonna be an issue. It's gonna have plenty enough range in town, but its fast charging is pretty underwhelming. So if I go to charging here, I'm at 61% battery. It tells me I can only charge at about 110 kilowatts at 60%. That's not very fast. All right, and that's going to be one of the Achilles heels of this vehicle. It's really expensive, 200 miles of highway range roughly. And then when you do need to charge it, it's going to be a 40-minute charge if your battery's like mostly depleted. All right, so it's not very good for road trips. It's awesome vehicle to be driving. I love driving this thing. This thing is one of my favorite vehicles to drive that I've driven in 2025. All right, so living with it from day to day, assuming you don't need all the seats and you can live with the compromised cargo and the compromised passenger configurations in this vehicle, assuming you don't need all the range, right? There's all these hoops you have to jump through to rationalize buying this because it looks so cute. And I'm just happy driving it. It's hard to explain. I love the ID.Buzz, and I would love it so much more if it wasn't so inherently flawed from the price perspective, from the range to the charging to the configuration to the lack of vehicle to load. Like it's just like it like hit the home run from the aesthetic, and it just struck out on most of everything else, including this, the touchscreen here. Well, luckily the climate control is good because I don't have, or the auto I should say, I just put it on auto and kind of forget it. Because the auto AC in here is out of this world good. But if it wasn't, then I'd be fiddling with the climate control a lot, which is not safe because I don't have physical buttons or knobs. Like here's the climate control screen and I just look at it and I want to throw up, okay? And I get a headache. All right, so anyways, I don't even know how to get out of that screen because I never am in it. Do I press it again? I have to press it again, I guess, to get out of it. All right, most of the time I'm in my Android Auto, which it's beautiful on here, big old screen. But when I want to listen to my tunes on this pretty decent Harman Kardon system, I don't have a volume knob. So I'm just here like acting like a knob, I guess you could say, as the Brits would say. You're looking like a knob messing with the volume control here because you don't have a volume knob. It's just silly as all heck that I don't have a volume knob or climate control physical buttons. The steering wheel buttons, well, they're not really, they're touch capacitive and they vibrate to let you know that you touched it. Yeah, they're not that big of a deal. I don't mind actually the lack of buttons here on the steering wheel. Is it less than ideal? Of course, okay? I only have 2 screens to pick from here, by the way. And yeah, I can't really control the volume like I would want to on the steering wheel or over here. I do at least have physical stocks, thank God, for putting this into drive mode or B mode. B mode is awesome because the brake pedal's terrible in here. It just gives you no feedback. It's a mush fest. So putting it into B mode with a lot of that regen braking built in is the absolute only way I like driving it. Otherwise, also in D mode, it just coasts. This thing, you get off the pedal and it's almost like cruise control is on. It doesn't decelerate hardly at all. So I like B mode. It's the way to go. The braking on it's great, and it's the only way I like driving it. I have a rear windshield wiper, at least that's physical. And same thing with my normal windshield wipers. Okay, let's clean the windshield so you get the cool windshield wiper effect. I drove this through the rain on the interstate. This thing was an absolute brick house on the interstate. It's so heavy, center of gravity's low. This thing's a brick, but it didn't, like, I never had any instance where it was being pushed around by semis or anything. I had that passing power all the time with this electric response. It's an amazing highway vehicle. It's not the quietest highway vehicle, but it's quiet enough. Not nearly as quiet as a Honda Odyssey, but it's just, I have so much room in here. I have such a command of the road, and I just feel happy in here. On the highway, in town, you just have to live with its compromises. But if I need to open the rear windows, I have to press this button to activate my window switches, which typically operates the front windows. I have to hold this little touch panel here to activate the rear windows that I use the same switches for the front windows. It's very frustrating that I have such an expensive vehicle and you have that cost-cutting measure to control the back windows. I don't have dedicated switches for them. It's a combo switch with the front windows. All right, and with that being said, let's head to the office. Let's look for deals if there are to be had any deals in my area. And let's also put on the spreadsheet. Is this a good vehicle? Should you be buying it? Well, yeah, that's a big egg to unpack. What? No, big nut to unpack. What's the term? That's a big nut to crack. I don't know. The ID.Buzz is kind of an I don't know vehicle. So let's get in the office. And my camera is just going to keep recording until I get home because, well, it's about 3 rooms away. It's just such a big vehicle that I typically in any other car I can just reach to the camera and turn it off, but the windows are so unique in this, the vehicle's so wide that it's just going to keep recording. In my area, there are 111 ID.Buzz, not that many. Now, I could not buy this vehicle without getting a two-tone paint job. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the exterior colors. Gray is not enough. I'm not putting gray in there. There are plenty of black and gray ones, but no way. You're getting a fun vehicle. You need to have some fun two-tone action. Look, there's too many silvers, too many whites, too many grays, too many blacks. All right. So, oh man, the orange is amazing. My first pick would be the teal or the orange. Those are my top 2 picks. Okay, so looking at them in my area, let's just see lowest price. There are price drops. This is a Pro S Plus for $58K. First edition, forget about it. Not paying $72. That's a joke. $60K. You got to keep in mind, you're buying a very flawed, compromised product that has insane street cred, or maybe very little, but I just love how unique it is. I think it's cute, and that's all that matters. If I like looking at it and I like driving it, that's all that matters. I don't care what other people think. It's just so cute. Both my wife and I love the looks of the ID.Buzz. I love driving it despite all of its flaws. Man, this one looks awesome. $5,000 off. Where are we going to put the ID.Buzz? It's not S tier, right? It's riddled with compromises. It's not A tier because it's too expensive with compromises. Is it a fire sale only? Maybe. Not for me. Not for me. If I had just buckets of money, I would buy one. I know that sounds crazy, but I just love the ID. I love vans, and I love how cute it is. I wish more vans took a chance with styling. And you might be saying, Kirk, the Kia Carnival, that it doesn't look like a van. Yeah, the ID.Buzz all day over a Sienna, an Odyssey, in terms of styling, right? And if I don't have as many kids as I do, maybe I'd be more interested in it. All right. So if you have 2 to 3 kids, it's a good van. Once you start putting more kids in it, it starts becoming a little bit more frustrating with a lack of cargo, a lack of seating configurations. Not even mediocre range. The range is bad for highway driving. The charging is not very good. Okay. The cargo space, not even mediocre, it's bad. The seat configurations is mediocre because of the vent location, because of the space you have when you're in the seat, but the lack of 7 to 8 seat configuration options is just frustrating. So with that being said, I love the ID.Buzz. I want to keep it. I want to keep it for a long time, assuming it wouldn't give me any issues. I'm sure that they have their own gremlins, as most new electric vehicles do. Man, it's just so cool, and it's fast, and it's cute, and I sit up high. Like, I love it. I love it and hate it both at the same time. And with that contrast, that the yin and the yang, that's why it puts it right in the middle of my tier. I'm going to shut it down there. ID.Buzz, cute. Volkswagen, great job designing it. Keep working on it to make it more accommodating to families. And I don't know what you can do with the cargo because you have a battery underneath. So it is what it is. Thank you guys for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace.